Hey, what's going on, everybody? I am in the garden today. It's your girl Aisha, otherwise known as Miss Champagne. Um, I am in Florida, Zone 10A, West Central Florida to be specific. And I wanted to make a video kind of dedicated to new gardeners, especially if you're new to gardening in Florida. When I first moved down here, I wasn't a gardener at all. I didn't even own a houseplant. So when I started gardening in 2020, when did I start gardening? It was either 2019 or 2020. I didn't know where to start or where to begin. So I tried to, follow what was on the seed packets. They have that little grid that they show when to plant. I tried to, go on YouTube, and I'm following some of the popular YouTubers, like M.I. Gardner was one of the first people I started following, just from Roots and Refuge. But I quickly learned that they are in different grow zones. And if you don't know what a grow zone is, it's very important when it comes to when to plant stuff. Basically, when your first and last frost dates are, kind of determines what grow zone you're in. So I'm in 10A. Our first and last frost date are very close together. We can have a frost as early as probably Christmas, and our last frost date is usually somewhere in February. It can be mid-February or the end of February. So that is my frost date, and it's important to know that because that determines when you can plant certain crops, especially if they're frost sensitive. But in Florida, you also have to consider the heat. While a lot of warm crops or, heat loving crops may love the summer heat up north, the summer heat down south is very different, especially in Florida, because of the humidity that comes with it and the pest pressure that also comes with it. So in March, a lot of people are just now starting their squash family, like your zucchinis, your yellow squash, your cucumbers, and things like that. If you are in Central Florida, hopefully you already had that started. If you are just now looking to get it started, I would suggest getting transplants. I wouldn't try cucumbers at this point if you don't have those started. They need to be well established. This cucumber plant I started in January, and transplanted it out in February. So it's well established. It's already growing. It's already flowering. Because coming into the end of March, beginning of April, when we start sustaining our warm temperatures and we're warm at night, is when a lot of our pest pressure will start to return. And there's a cucumber beetle that will ravish these plants, as well as a lot of your moths will start laying their eggs, and they will love this tender new growth. We start to get a lot of humidity, and a lot of your squash and cucumbers will start to suffer from powdery mildew. So if you don't have cucumbers in the ground established, now's not the time. You can, however, get some transplants for your squash and zucchini. Again, mine, I started in January. So I have the, I want to say emerald zucchini variety. So it's already producing. We've been probably in the mid 40s, upper 50s at nights. and into the 80s during the day. So they are loving the weather right now. Our humidity is really low. So by the time our humidity starts to pick up and pest pressure really starts to pick up, we're already done with this. This is a patty pan variety. It does okay with some of the pest pressure. It's got a lot of spikes on the stem and the underside of the leaves that the caterpillars don't like, but it will suffer from powdery mildew. For the first time, I'm trying a different variety. This is called Tromboncino. It's supposed to be really good with dealing with our pest pressure and dealing with our humidity. So I am hoping to have some success with this. So far it is doing well, but again, we don't have a lot of pest pressure right now. One of the pumpkins, which is kind of like a winter squash. The ducks are so loud right now because they see me. It's a winter squash variety that does well in Florida. Some say it's native to Florida, or at least native to the southern region. So it loves our summer. Doesn't so much love the intensity of the sun. So you may want to plant it in an area where it's going to get some protection from the sun. So if you look at where I have mine planted, I have a row of sunflowers here. I do plan to vine this on the ground underneath the sunflowers. These are large varieties, so they'll get, nice big leaves and hopefully provide some protection against the sun. For another plant that you can get started, at least by transplant, if you didn't start them in the fall, would be your bulbing onions. You want to get the bulbs that you can pick up from the store. It's really too late to start these from seed. You may not even get a bulb starting them now. You really wanted these transplanted last month, but you can do things like bunching onions. I do have bunching onions in my garden that I started from seed in the fall. If you're getting them now, you can start those from seed. You can pretty much start them from seed all year long, except for like the peak heat of our summer. And they'll do well. Corn is another crop that if you don't have it started yet, you can get that started. I started my corn last month and it is thriving. This whole garden right here, I started just a month ago. So seeing the growth has really just blown my mind at how fast everything has grown in this area. This used to be my chicken coop, and the amount of nitrogen probably in this soil just made for a really fast growing environment. So the plants are thriving. But it's still not too late. If you don't have your corn in the ground, you want to go ahead and get that started now. You can also start beans. I have a pole bean variety. They typically do well up until probably May. They'll start to tinker out into May, June. You can do bush beans. They're a faster producer, so you have a quick turnaround with those harvests. You can always do radish seeds. You just want them protected from a lot of the intense sun, but they are quick to harvest. You can literally harvest in like less than 40 days from seed. Potatoes are another thing that you can go ahead and get started if you don't have them started already. I did these probably about 2.5 weeks ago. I have some in boxes. I've got some in grow bags. I have some in an old feed bag. It's really too late for tomatoes. If you don't have those started already and flowering, then now's not the time. Because by the time they start to flower, which takes a good 2 months, we'll be in the like the good heat where we're sustaining the 80s. And these blossoms are going to start falling off once we hit the 80s. So this is a cherry variety. It produces really small tomatoes. It won't die in our summer, it just won't produce. It'll start producing again in the fall. So this is an indeterminate variety, meaning it will pretty much keep going until something kills it off. So they produce these little purple tomatoes that turn red. They're called midnight snack. I do prune this during our summer months when our humidity is at an all-time high, just to make sure that it has a lot of airflow. It's not producing any tomatoes at that time, so it's a great time to just prune it back and hope that it survives your summer. Oh, I know what I want to show you. Flowers. This is the season for marigolds. They love our heat, they love our summer, they love our soil. You can get tons of marigolds, tons of sunflowers. You can go ahead and get those started now. I will be succession sowing these pretty much every other month. I'm going to be dropping more seeds. You can do the same with zinnias. I have zinnias interplanted throughout the sunflowers. So that's another great flower. When it comes to greens, your traditional greens are pretty much done for. They'll be wrapping up pretty much the end of March, beginning of April, like your collard greens. A lot of your kales will either die off or just stop producing for the summer. So I have a lot of tropical greens. I have some longevity spinach down here. This is Egyptian spinach. I have another spinach called Okinawan spinach. It's a kind of a perennial for me, meaning I just plant it once. You don't really plant it from seed, you plant it from cuttings. It does go to seed. I have some here that went to seed, and I'm going to let it just kind of spread all over this little patch. But your Okinawan spinach, the more sun it gets, these underside of the leaves turn this really beautiful purple. It's a thicker leaf, so you can cook it down, but you can go ahead and get a lot of those started. They love our tropical weather, they love the humidity. You can get another tropical green called katuk. This is another perennial. It loves the heat. It does not love the cold nights that we had. So it will start to pick back up as we warm back up. You can go ahead and get your tropical fruits in the ground now because we're starting to get warm. So if you're harvesting or buying pineapples from the store, you can plant the tops in the ground. Just keep in mind it's going to take a good 2 years before you get anything. Pigeon peas are another one. I just cut mine back. This is a perennial. It will last anywhere from 4 to 5 years. It produces in the fall and the winter. So I harvest it back in the spring because it's pretty much done. It's just going to put on a lot of green growth. And then that new growth will produce your next crop for the fall and winter. So you can get your pigeon peas started now, your pineapple started now, your other warm weather crops and fruit like papayas, you can go ahead and get those started now. Bananas, it's a great time to get those in the ground. For your herbs, you can get your thyme. They love the warm weather. You can go ahead and get that started. Rosemary, if you have that. This is my rosemary from last year. I'll be harvesting some of this. You can get chives started. You can get some parsley going. It's starting to get too hot for the dill, so that's going to seed. Cilantro is not a good crop. It's going to bolt as soon as you put it in. Chamomile, if you have those, you can get those started from seed now. They tend to love our warm weather. Not necessarily the sun, but they like our warm weather. You can go ahead and get peppers transplanted in the ground. Hopefully you started those from seed way back in January. If you haven't, I would buy transplants. And you don't want to get like the large bell pepper varieties. These are my bell peppers from last year. They've overwintered, so they'll probably give me some peppers, but then they'll stop flowering come probably May and into June when we're really getting hot. But you can start your smaller pepper varieties, or at least get the transplants. So your hot peppers, any of your hot peppers will thrive in our Florida heat. These are some jalapenos. This one overwintered from last year. So it's just now starting to flower again now that we're warming back up. I have a Thai chili pepper. I have a serrano pepper. And I managed to get a hold of some Scotch bonnet peppers. Your hot pepper seeds will take forever to get going, just so you're aware. This Thai chili I started from seed, and it is extremely slow growing, as you can see. I did cover it during our coldest nights so I wouldn't lose it. And then some of the sweeter small pepper varieties are like your sweet banana pepper. This is a gypsy bell pepper. It's a really tiny bell pepper, kind of like those snacking bell peppers that you see at the grocery store. And then I have a sweet Marconi and a Cuban ale. So these are small pepper varieties. So you can go ahead and get your peppers in ground. If you haven't started your sweet potato slips, you can get those started. I have sweet potatoes volunteering in my garden every year, so they come back when they're ready. This used to be my sweet potato bed for about 2 years. I always miss sweet potatoes when I'm harvesting, and as you can see, they will grow back wherever they are. So just keep that in mind. Wherever you plant your sweet potatoes, they're going to be there for life. So my sweet potatoes are naturally coming back up. I do have some in the food forest area that are also coming back up. So you can go ahead and get your slips planted out if you want. You can do other flowers, like this is a blanket flower. It's self-seeded. I put some transplants out here last year. It died back completely in the winter and has self-seeded and spread itself. I want this whole little area kind of like a little wild patch. They are absolutely beautiful. They're not really Florida native, but they're Florida friendly. They don't mind our heat, our humidity, or the sandy soils. Now, things I haven't started yet that I plan on starting soon is my hibiscus family. So you like your roselles. I have cranberry hibiscus left over from last year. It's a perennial for us that live in 10 or 11. You can just pretty much trim it back and it will keep coming back. Your sorrel, which is this one. I call it Jamaican sorrel, but it's in a hibiscus family. It produces these bright red calyx that you harvest and you can make a drink or tea out of. This one, I usually remove it every winter because it pretty much dies all the way back, but I left it in ground, and I'm curious to see what is happening, or what's going to happen. It has started to put out new growth. So I'm just going to leave it. I am going to start some from seed, but I'm also going to leave it. Your okra is also in the hibiscus family. So if you don't have that started, you want to go ahead and get that started from seed. I did put some okra out already. Right after our cold snap or our last frost, we jumped straight into summer weather where it was extremely hot. So I got excited. I was like, let's get this okra in the ground. So I planted some crimson spineless okra, and it is stunted. It's pretty much stayed this height since I planted it. And if you look at everything else around it, it's clearly taken off. So the okra is stunted. So I'm going to start some more okra. And that's pretty much it. So follow gardeners who live in your zone. The University of Florida has an awesome website that provides a planting guide. I'll try to post it in the description below. I pretty much use that as my guide of what to grow. Try everything if it's your first year growing, because you just never know what you're going to like or not. And then the more you garden, the more you learn. But yeah, now I follow the Wild Floridian. I love her channel. There's another urban backyard gardener that I follow as well. I also get her seeds. Jera's Garden, she's another Florida gardener. I follow her. Dan's Tropical Food Forest, I follow him. And there's so many others. So I like to see what's going well in other people's garden, to see if I can also get that started in my garden. And you just take it from there. You align with people who kind of have similar goals and stuff, so that you can, kind of mimic what they're doing. And then you tailor it to your own needs, because we all have different microclimates. Depending on how dense you're planting, or if they have more trees than you, then they're going to have a different microclimate. So you plant for what you have. So I hope that helps if you are brand new to gardening, especially in Florida. Don't get frustrated when you get all excited because something looks beautiful and then our pest pressure shows up and takes it away in one night. Or you suddenly start dealing with our four-legged pests like squirrels and rats and mice and bunnies. Just push through. Don't stop gardening. The pests, they're going to come. Don't fight it. It's kind of the best advice I learned. Let them come. Certain crops you're going to lose, but then they'll start attracting beneficial pests or prey, predators that will attack them and keep them out of your garden naturally. Plant things that attract wasps and bees and hornets, because they will, they can attack a lot of the hornworms. Leave those aphids on some of the plants, because then you'll attract ladybugs. You don't want to buy ladybugs from online and then you don't have a food source for them. They're not going to stay. But if you let nature provide the food source, then they'll naturally come to your garden. I love the sunflowers. They are a trap crop for leaf-footed bugs. They also attract a lot of birds to my garden. The birds love the seeds. The birds love the leaf-footed bugs. The birds can also help hunt those caterpillars when they see them, because most birds don't just eat fruit. They like a lot of insects. So if you let nature be, it will start to take care of itself. And usually your bugs aren't going to attack a really healthy plant. They're going to attack the one that's struggling the most or that's really sick. So don't fight with nature. Our seasons are very different. My cucumbers, for example, do way better in the fall than they do in the spring. I'll plant them in the spring and maybe get, 1, 2, maybe 3, depending on how early it is. But I can get an abundance in the fall, so I'll plant it twice a year. We have a very long gardening season, so take advantage of it. Just keep practicing. This is the first year that I've successfully grown nasturtiums. I used to start them in the spring, but they hate the heat. They will absolutely not grow. They'll get stunted. They start yellowing. But I planted them in the fall, and they thrived in our winter. They were unbothered by the frost, and by spring, they're in their full glory and starting to slowly tinker out. I did have to remove a lot of it because it actually took over most of my raised beds. So I had to remove a lot. The calendula, same thing. Planted it in the fall. It thrived, unbothered by the frost, or at least the chill hours that we had. But now it's starting to tinker out. So I am saving all of those seeds to replant in the fall. My cabbage is coming to an end. So whatever has not created a head yet, I'm pretty much just going to pull up and give to my chickens. A lot of my collard greens and stuff are done. My beets are going to be coming to an end. My carrots are going to be coming to an end. Your onions and garlic are very slow growing. You won't be harvesting those until about May, June, or July, depending on when they start to die back for your area. But yeah, the garden is wrapping up. It's done all it can do. My collard greens, as we start to get warm, will start to get bitter. They'll start to suffer in the heat and then attract a lot of aphids and other insects to come and eat it up, because that's nature's way of signaling to other insects, I'm done. You can go ahead and take me out. Or they'll bolt and go to seed, and then you have free seed for the next year. I usually try to leave at least one in, and hopefully it goes to seed so I can save. This dinosaur kale made it through like a year and a half. It slows down and pretty much won't produce in the summer, but it doesn't die back. It'll just stay kind of stagnant. And then when cooler weather comes back, it'll start growing. It's grown all winter, all fall, and into the spring. So as we start warming up at night and in the mornings, then this will come to a halt and it'll pretty much be done. If this was helpful to you, don't forget to like and follow on my food forest journey. I do annual gardening as well as creating my own food forest. Hopefully I can be helpful to someone who's just now learning, or be an inspiration to someone who's trying to create the same thing in their yard. All right, follow, share this video, comment down below if you are new to gardening. What area are you gardening in? Or if you're just watching for inspiration, I love that too. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.